Okay, we're about to dive into one of the most powerful, yet almost completely invisible forces on our planet. Seriously, it's this silent engine that connects a single tiny leaf to weather systems thousands of miles away. And it all kicks off with a simple question.
It sounds a little like a riddle, doesn't it? I mean, a tree just stands there, right? A river flows. But the connection between them is, well, it's way more powerful than you'd probably guess. The answer isn't about what they are, but about the insane amount of water they both move.
That's right. A single mature oak tree can pump up to 400 liters, that's over 100 gallons, of water straight into the atmosphere every single day. Now just imagine that multiplied by an entire forest. You see, this isn't just some neat biological fact. We're talking about a planetary scale engine. So how in the world does this hidden engine actually work? To really get a handle on its power, we've got to look at a process that's happening silently all around us, inside pretty much every plant on Earth. The process has a name. It's called transpiration. And put simply, it's just plants breathing out water vapor. It's the final crucial step in this amazing journey that water takes from the soil, up through the plant, and then right back into the atmosphere. So here's the path it takes. Water gets soaked up by the roots, it travels up the stem through these tiny little pipes called xylem, and then it spreads out into the leaves. From there, poof, it evaporates into the air. But the real question is, why? Why do plants do this? Well, the answer is in this fascinating dilemma that every single plant has to solve. Okay, let's zoom in, like way, way in, down to the surface of a single leaf, because this is where the real action is happening. And it's all about a massive trade-off that is at the very heart of being a plant. So the surface of a leaf is covered in millions of these tiny little pores called stomata. You can think of them like microscopic mouths that are constantly opening and closing to trade gases with the air. And this is where that big trade-off really begins. Here's the basic problem. To eat, to do photosynthesis, a plant has to open those little stomata to breathe in carbon dioxide. But, and this is a huge but, the unavoidable price of opening those gates is that precious water escapes. So it's this constant high-stakes balancing act. Get food, but don't dry out and die. So how does the plant manage to pull water all the way up from its roots against gravity without a pump? It doesn't even use any energy. It's actually this brilliant little physics trick called the cohesion tension mechanism. Basically, as one water molecule evaporates from a leaf, it pulls on the molecule right behind it, which pulls on the one behind that, creating this continuous chain of water being sucked up from the ground. It's an unbelievably efficient and totally silent system. Okay, so we've seen how it works in just one leaf. Now, let's pull the camera back, way, way back, and see what happens when you multiply this process by trillions and trillions of leaves across an entire continent. This, my friends, is where it becomes a straight-up planetary force. Let's just take the Amazon rainforest. Every single day, the trees there release an estimated 20 billion tons of water vapor into the atmosphere. It's a number so big it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. But to put it into perspective for you, get this. That invisible river of water vapor flowing up from the forest is actually bigger than the Amazon River itself. The largest visible river on the entire planet. That's not just a fun fact. That is a weather-making machine. These huge currents of moisture are so massive and powerful, and they move in such distinct patterns across continents that scientists have given them this beautiful and honestly perfect name, flying rivers. And these flying rivers have some serious power. They don't just hang out over the forest. Nope. They travel for thousands of kilometers, carrying life-giving rain across entire continents. What this means is that the health of a forest in one place can directly decide whether or not it rains in another place, thousands of miles away. It's all one deeply interconnected global system. So what does this all mean for us? Right here, right now. This isn't just about some distant rainforest. This invisible engine plays an absolutely critical role in regulating the very climate that we all rely on every single day. One of its most important jobs is cooling. You know how sweating cools our bodies down? Well, transpiration does the same thing for the plant and all the air around it. And when you scale that up, entire forests act like giant living air conditioners for the whole planet. And you have absolutely felt this yourself. Think about a brutally hot summer day on a city street, all asphalt and concrete. Now picture stepping into a park full of trees. That instant relief, that drop in temperature you feel, That's the cooling power of transpiration at work, fighting back against the urban heat island effect, right where we live.
So let's just recap all the work this process is doing behind the scenes. It's helping form clouds, it's regulating temperatures, it's moving nutrients for the plant, and it's keeping global rainfall patterns stable. It is, to put it mildly, absolutely essential. But this powerful engine is also pretty vulnerable.
And this is where things get a bit scary, especially with our changing climate. See, higher temperatures can stress plants out, making them lose water even faster. But if there's a drought, plants have to slam their stomata shut to survive. And when they do that, the air conditioning turns off. This makes the local area even hotter and even drier, creating a really dangerous feedback loop.
And that leaves us with a massive question for our future. This powerful planetary system has always taken care of itself. But as our activities change landscapes all over the world, the responsibility for the health of these invisible flying rivers, well, it's increasingly falling on our shoulders. What we decide to do with our forests and our green spaces is going to determine their future, and in turn, our own.